Well, hello everyone. You're here to show you the Gifted Sun coloring activity right here is what we had put together. And of course you got red numbers right here is like 1 through 30. And then of course he was talking about with mistakes, and then of course talking about with other educational you say reasons. But it's talking about the main part of the about activity is basically talking about is that with most of us, if we would think about is that if we would ever want to get paid for the time that we spend on something, of course it could be related to a fact about little clock carrier it is, a little sport clock carrier it is, spending the time knowing about how it works, if the battery needs to be changed, or the fact about knowing about reading, it's like other than reading the directions, if it gets charged by solar power or whatever. But and too that if anybody were to be sailing on the ocean or anything like that, more likely they could probably think about is that if it's not waterproof or whatever, or shock absorber it is, that more likely than knowing about if it still works or not. But on the other hand too, the thing about it is like with Noah is about it is me is like for the Gifted Sun activity is talking about the things that you're good at, and of course you could probably think about is like that maybe you're good at fixing things, if you can fix it, or of what you say, maybe you can think of an idea of a way to you can buy the right tool to be able to take the instrument and say apart and put a new battery in it, or to maybe fix it. A lot of people will probably think about is that really the best way to how to handle a situation kind of like this is knowing about the fact about is like to try to fix it to get it working again, other than throwing away. There's probably a lot of people that may give something away or throw it away or whatever just because it don't work. On the other hand too, that you could probably think about is like, really, if there's really nothing wrong with it, then try to fix it. Try to fix it, or maybe give it away, or maybe sell it, whatever it is. But then of course on the other hand too, that you think about, a lot of people may think that is that it wasn't much money. It was only $1 at the dollar store, or it was only it was on sale over there at Walmart or whatever, or it may be something that you say he didn't pay very much money for it or whatever. But on the other hand too, that you could probably think about is knowing about that no matter how much money you paid for it, is that money that you worked hard for it's all about, it's like, other than it's like for the activity of the Gifted Wallet, is talking about is your time that you put into buying it, and if it don't work, the time that you put into trying to figure out how it works and stuff. But talking about what's like with the Gifted Sun, it's like knowing about that is you got is the iPod, the iPod right here. With most people would probably think about it is like with an iPod right here, you got the control buttons right up on top it is, and of course it's like really going into too much detail if I were to turn it on, but you connect them to the headphone, you got the headphone jack right there. But you see right here, it was mainly just this part right here that came with the package. It was just this part, and a lot of people probably think it's easy to lose or whatever, put it on your belt clip or whatever. But of course I didn't make the iPod, but then I made this carrier right here. With this carrier that you could probably think about is like to stick it somewhere, and I'm sure it's not going to get lost that way. If it falls between the seat of a car or whatever, a lot of people will probably say that, hey, I don't know how to work this, or how am I supposed to learn how to work this, or how am I supposed to have access to the account, and how am I supposed to pay a bill using this little device or whatever, like cha 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 cha. What am I supposed to do from here? Or do I just push a few buttons or whatever, whatever, etc., etc., yeah, etc., etc., yeah, etc., etc. But other than that, is talking about the whole purpose about is like the Gifted Sun is know about. A lot of people probably think about is that really you really just gotta buy something or experience something really just to know how they work. But on the other hand too, the thing about is like the mistakes that you may have made, of course, is knowing about who's really responsible for correcting those mistakes. And then of course you got right here is the 23. Of course is the color in right here is with the 3 right here. The 23 could mean maybe 23 times until you learned your lesson. 23 times of experience, or knowing about memorizing your times tables it is, 1, 2, 3, 1,000 or something like that. I remember I wanted to come up with a times table chart between 1,000 it is, but of course, still working on that too. I have not been able to memorize it, but the most important thing with most parents would probably say about it is like so far is a gift for who we are. The things that what we can do is how, where, and when is know is to find out. It's to know about really about how smart we are. A lot of times it's that some people may think that that really, if you don't know how to count the alphabet backwards, or maybe if you don't know too much about computers, I don't want to waste time with you or whatever. On the other hand too, we could probably think about is that the things that we were born with. We could probably think that the things that we were born with, that we may have been born a disorder in our leg or whatever, but so far as PE is talking about with a person's education, it is got written in cursive and along with printed words, it is talking about with a gift for who we are. Knowing about that a lot of times that we could probably think about is whatever our dreams tell us. A lot of times is knowing about, you got right here is a lot of times they probably say that draw something that comes to your mind in the box right there, and of course is starting out with it's like with the green. I'll go ahead and use a green crayon here. A lot of people probably think about not too much you can do with the crayon. But if you were to just say draw a line right there, and then from there, and then go ahead and draw a line going downwards and then a line going sideways, it is. You probably think about what is that supposed to be or something. But as you continue putting detail into it, it's like half the time. It's like you got right here. It's like where's it gonna be? It's like what is that supposed to be? Really, what is that supposed to be? And then on the other hand too, it's like you just hang on a second, I'll tell you. What is it? It looks like a Lego set, and then of course right here, it adds some detail right here. It's like add some green right here. The one about I always think about it is like a good way to start. Of course, is talking about is showing about it could be Legos, or it could be anything related to you should say flowers, or any type of flowers or tulips that you think like draw. But you got the green, and then of course with the see here so you grab a blue here, but you got the green, like you got the green right there, and then along with the blue right here is go ahead and add some blue detail right here. But you say is that you got that some art right there. I guess it's like what's that particular word for intro? It's like a pastel. Is that you have like that shadow, or it could be a shadow, or just like an imbalancing right there. But if you want to add some more detail right here, if this is a set of steps or whatever you call it, it's like if you want step 1 or step 2, knowing about how do you get to this step or to that step, it is knowing is like not really to take a ladder to step 6 or something like that. All in a matter of what you call of a person's education. About there's something that maybe you can do and something that you can't do, or is it? But other than that they're knowing about the things that you can do. And the things that you can't do, well, I guess you say we're still working on it. But we could also think about the things that we can do with our hands, of course. The things that we can do with our hands, of course, that you could probably think about, the things that you can do with your hand, that if you want to color in the heart right here, it's like if you want to color in the heart right here, really, what's the reason that maybe it's better off just looking like it's like with the outline it is. The things that you can do with your hand, I guess you say the things you can do, and then for who we are, as they say, what I would think is the most important. And you got right here, you got with the different colors right here. It's like you'll color in the heart right here. There's probably a lot of people would probably say if you want to draw anything on paper that you don't want to have to deal with the fact about starting from scratch or whatever it is. But then of course start out with something small. Of course start out with a small piece of what you're working with, and then go ahead and and work a little bit more detail on it. I guess how should I describe it? It would be described as what you call is like if you if you want to maybe tie a ribbon or anything like that, knowing about with a magnifying glass. Really, that there may be some tricks that you can use with the magnifying glass, maybe to check the image or whatever you call it. It's like with the magnifying glass, it's like to tilt it sideways, or you should say make it larger or smaller or anything like that. Maybe design one that can glow in the dark or whatever you call it. Like say is horizontally, like with 3D, a 3D magnifying glass it is. But other than that, knowing anything that you discover, really, that people probably say is knowing about what you discovered, really, that they knowing about is to share it. The stuff that from what we can do really is what I think is what matters. Not really about the things that you can't do, but then of course the things that you can do is to keep that in mind. But other than that, as you got right here is with the dreams. With most of us probably say that it would just be nice if maybe if our time and effort would be worth money, but of course it seems like it don't work that way. But on the other hand too, that you probably think about is anything that you do know, that you might as well just say that hey, it's up to you if you want to share it, or if you just want to say as I talk about later, whatever it is. On the other hand too, you could probably think about is that the things that we do like to do, that you kind of do it on your own self-esteem it is. But other than that is talking about with dreams. That here, every once in a while I have dreams about, it's like maybe going back to school or something like that. Probably it's like what do our dreams mean? If there is anything such to what you call as a walking clock, or what you call a bouncing circle that bounces from the ceiling and from the wall, to the bedroom, whatever it is. But my best guess is with most dreams, we could probably think about it, it's like, well, what do they really tell us? Of course, is no. It's like just the way about knowing about our concerns. Our concerns, and most people probably say that with dreams. Dreams, it's like they're just dreams, and they're not stuff that's really happening. It is, and which most of the times I really think that is some ways true. In some ways, it's what you call something that it's possible that could happen, or you say, but just maybe not the same as as the dream that you had, or something like that. We could probably also think about is if I want to go ahead and you should say is like you see the ball, but then of course it's like you may want to dribble the ball, of course, a little bit, but you say the same thing that maybe I would have probably said those couple of years ago. I wanted to pick up a ball, but then of course I didn't know how to dribble it. Didn't know how to color it or whatever. But then of course on the other hand too, that so didn't even know how to talk to a microphone, did not even know how to use a camera, or did not even know how to manage my money online or whatever it was. But then on the other hand too, who told you how to do it? Who taught you how to do it? Who even taught you how to shave? I learned it just by concentration. Is what more likely what I would probably tell anybody. I learned by concentration, not really about criticism or anything like that, is knowing about what I think was the right thing to do. But other than that, is knowing about, it's like for who we are, what we were born with, is know about, is like how to bounce a ball, and of course about take things step by step, and then along with the hearts, and then along with what you call is managing, creating an account, paying your bills online, maybe counting the numbers between 1 and 30, and along with the times tables. And right here, you got right here is some photos of me to say, how do we, how would we even want to create, a biography page just mainly about us, maybe about me, of course, is to get yourself some ideas, knowing about what you have to work with, and knowing about a lot of times people probably say that really that there's a lot more than what I had, than what I thought I had, or whatever, probably a lot more, but then on the other hand too, we can probably